Okay? So what's been going around, and now it's even trickled to corporate social media accounts, so it's officially already over. But I'm going to bring it in. Is the question I'm asking you guys is how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
I've seen this. I
have to say, fairly often. I don't know what it is.
Fairly often, like more than once a week.
Thank you. This is a show, Daniel. You have to elaborate.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, the Roman Empire was dope. Hard to underestimate. Lost train of thought.
Plus or minus, like 10 minutes per time you're thinking about it.
Minus. It's definitely never that long. It's a little blip, like, the Colosseum.
Does it like do lots of things, like certain things happen and you think about it in context of the Roman Empire, or the Roman Empire in context of that scenario or situation or person or whatever?
Here and there, yeah. For example, me and my partner, we did a little Korean barbecue in the living room, which maybe not the safest idea, but we thought, didn't the Romans do something like this? And everyone kind of like sat around a table. They laid around the table.
I was like, how did you get to Roman Empire from Korean barbecue?
There's like, this is how my brain works.
You can get to Roman Empire anywhere. Paul, what's your answer to that question?
My answer is almost never. But I think it's because, like, one, I get nervous anytime that I think about like the past or anything like that, because I mean, everyone's seen me. I'm a delicate boy. I would die so fast. And anytime I start thinking about like what they had to wear, how dirty everything was, like
you're born in the right time.
Yeah, there's no Claritin, right? That's probably why Rome fell. Zero Claritin as far as history shows us. I do think about like Greece.
Okay.
Which is different. Yeah,
you do think about Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in.
Please drop a comment in the chat how often you think about the Roman Empire. Go ahead.
I am curious. I have seen it going around, but I haven't seen any responses. I've seen like the people making fun of the prompt.
Yeah.
Now,
do you understand where it came from and why?
No.
Okay. So the question, it's not meant to be making fun of men or belittling men or in any way. It's just that some people discovered along the way somewhere that it is extremely common. It is like a men's shared brain scenario that hey, ask the men in your life how often they think about the Roman Empire, and women are recording this. And there's just all these different women from all over the country and different countries that are showing the response of like once a week, why? Or like every day, probably why? And women are like, what is this? It's not a judgment. It's just we've stumbled upon the fact that it is extremely common for men to think about the Roman Empire. And then I started seeing it everywhere. Like there's this thing, My Heritage is a website where you can upload pictures of yourself, and it uses AI to put you into different historical periods. Terrifying. And for women, they have all these categories, and when you have men, you have these categories. And for women, there's like 1 or 2 categories for like Greek, Roman Empire, Greek. For men, there's like 12. There's a Roman commoner and a Roman philosopher and there's like all these different subcategories from the Roman Empire for men. And it's like, for what they're asking, okay, what's the female counterpart to that? And it's really sad. Want to hear the Debbie Downer? Being
Jeremy Allen White,
kidnapped, being murdered or kidnapped, or something similar happening. Women think about it as an ongoing common basis. Or Taylor Swift.
Or Taylor Swift. Jeremy Allen White right now. He's a mood.
Absolutely.
Pedro Pascal. Okay.
Amy
Henry
Scott
Cavill.
With me. We do I think we do, Amy. I feel like you've been with me on a lot of these conversations. Yeah.
The girlies love murder.
And Laura, seriously, start asking men in your life, hey, just casual. How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Yeah. Report back, everyone. Let us know if your partner is in the room. Thank you for watching. The hell are you doing? Jump on another device and watch. Let's get our numbers up while you're there. Like, comment, subscribe. No mooching, no double viewing. We're going the Netflix route. Welcome in, everyone, to Fandom Social, your favorite pop culture show that is live We're hoping once a week.
We're live when we're live, okay?
I know. We're going to do our best. My name is Paul. This is Autumn and our super producer, Daniel, down here. Today, we're going to be going over our Explorathon picks that we gave you guys as far back ago as the Roman Empire existed. So we will be covering, I almost spoiled what our next ones are, but we're going to be covering Twilight Zone, 3 episodes in specific, Leaf by Niggle, which is a J.R.R. Tolkien short story, and the War of the Worlds broadcast, the original one from I forgot the date.
38? I believe it's 38.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Halloween. Do you want to tell people what Explorathon is?
Yes. So it is our segment where we used to dub it the watch, read, listen. Now it is something new that most of us, at least on the show, have not either watched, read, or listened to, and we hope you haven't either. And if we have, or if you have, you'll explore it with us again for the first time. We talk about it during an episode. We're going to take about 30. We've already spent 5 minutes talking about the goddamn Roman Empire, so we'll go a little bit further. But 30 to 45 minutes, we'll talk about it. It's your homework to be part of the Fandom Socialites Facebook community, which is, he's getting better. It's frustrating.
So good.
He's working on it. So it is the only homework that you will have that we hope that you'd love to do. And we'll get started in just a moment. And once Autumn has something to say.
I was going to say this is born because...
What were you going to say, Autumn?
It was about the Roman Empire. It was born out of, like, Paul and I both really enjoyed recommending new music to each other, movies, all that kind of stuff. And I thought this would be a really great way to have basically like a book club with you guys, but we're going to expand that. Something to watch, something to read, something to listen to, and, expand our horizons a little bit.
Yeah. And we hope you will as well. And again, we do have a Facebook group, Instagram, Twitter. We have a website, fandomsocial.com. So however you would like to, it exists. Okay. It's there. And it's on the internet. So we hope that you'll go to any of those, like, comment, subscribe to the notification bell, like now, comment like crazy. Let us know. Please engage. It does help the show, and we can get this show out to more people, and then we can sell out. And then we can be, corporate shills, and we can live on a yacht, and then we don't have to, schlep anymore. So please, please like, comment, subscribe to the notification bell. Okay,
we got some fun stuff coming up too. New shows, new people, all that.
Right before we do this, we do have folks in here, so let's say hi. So, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hello, Steve.
I'm just gonna fly through these. So we're just gonna say
we're
just gonna keep one wave going, and we're just gonna get all of you.
Hello, Gina.
Hello, Amy.
Aloha.
Hello, Amy.
Yon.
Hi, John.
Luna Figs.
Yon. Is that how you pronounce it? Yon?
It's Yon. That's what he's saying about the show. Yin. He's like, let's move it.
Yeah. And Yin is also here.
Gina B. Collectin.
Nice. Every day she has thought about the Roman Empire.
This jabroni.
This guy.
Mr. Alex Monowitz. And honestly, my brain, I've been doing, oh my God, I'm so bad at this. We all literally, Daniel just drove home from work. I got off work 6 minutes ago, maybe.
Same.
Autumn is still technically working.
Yeah, and I got a meeting right after this.
My brain went to I thought it said, ugh, you sluts. I was like, whoa, Jin.
How did you know?
She's like, you're wearing a yes chef, sir. You spend yes chef. That's hard to say. All right, let's move on to our Explorathon. Let's go ahead and cover. I know you're dying to talk about it, so let's talk about Leaf by Niggle first, a J.R.R. Tolkien short story. If some of you guys did read it, it was only 10 pages. I did not. Daniel's a little bit more.
Pages.
I'm so sorry. I did everything else though. So if you did read it, let us know in the comments. Autumn, do you want to tell us a little bit about 2 things? What is it and why? Because this was something that you chose. So why did you choose this?
Okay, this is a short story, like as you said, by Tolkien, and it is an allegory. He has claimed in the past that it was not an allegory, but it absolutely is an allegory of his creative process making the Lord of the Rings universe. It is a really quick, short story of an artist who was a painter who started this work of art that he had in his mind to paint. He liked to paint little leaves. and he would paint little leaves. And then he gets this idea, he wants to make this giant tree with all the different leaves and everything he's always imagined in his head. And it becomes like his life work. He's obsessed with it, and he's neglecting the garden, and he's neglecting, you know, his potato patch. And it's an allegory for all of the things in life that he's not taking care of because he's obsessed with this. But he's also frustrated because he's constantly getting interrupted by people and obligations and illness and different things that are happening, getting in the way of him completing this painting. And other people see this painting and they just see a bunch of splotches of paint or leaves. They don't really understand it. And it's this allegory of like, he comes to realize, is the art his purpose? Is this piece of art his purpose? And people are getting in the way of his purpose? Or are these people in his life his purpose, and his art is getting in the way of that? Like, what is more important? What is the priority? Is dedicating himself entirely to this art in a way that neglects his own health, all the people around him? Like, what's the point of creation if you don't have any connection with the people around you and you sacrifice everyone for this creation? And, you know, it's not a huge spoiler, it's a 10-page thing, but the idea is then in this, the driver comes to take him away. It's in the afterlife, and he realizes he no longer has control over this creation. People pick it apart and do whatever they want with it, and it turns back into leaves, into individual leaves, like The Hobbit, like The Lord of the Rings, like all the movies, like all the fandoms, and how everybody else perceives it. That tree that he painted belongs to everyone else. And like, was that a worthwhile way to spend his life, or wasn't it? Was that like, and there's no answer whether that was the right answer or the wrong answer, but it's a really amazing, really look at that creative process and being an artist. And like, as a parent who also has this intensive creative streak and this desire to be producing and creating and making, I completely related to this story because, you know, my children are very important to me. My friends are very important to me. My family are important to me. And if I were to neglect my creative streak to spend time with everybody, I haven't made my mark in this world of my own. But I have my relationships to these people are part of my mark on the world. So there's no right or wrong answer, but it's that drive and what you sacrifice, your creation and your life. Like, which one is life?
Yeah, it's a really interesting I mean, it's obviously a direct parallel because Tolkien wrote it. But I mean, did you find yourself understanding Tolkien more as you had read this? Because I feel like I read the first page, and as soon as I read it, I just didn't finish it. And as soon as I did read it, I understood why he created this. It's almost like a release valve for things that, you know, like if you've ever been a creative, when you don't know how to explain something, you don't know how to tell folks anything. Like in this case, you know, Tolkien, I mean, I know he had family, he still has family at the time. I mean, in order to be J.R.R. Tolkien, there's a cost. And so this story is sort of the story of explaining the cost of being infamous. And so did you find yourself, where did you stand, Autumn? And Daniel, I know you were familiar with it as well. After reading it, like, were you more sympathetic for Tolkien as a person, or was it more like, he's kind of neglectful?
No, I think I was more sympathetic because part of, even in this story, he's self-aware. He's saying that the people don't like him because he is a hermit, because he's ignoring them, because he's rude, because people would come by and want him to engage with them or do things, and he would basically be rude and turn them away, they didn't understand him or relate to him. And it wasn't that he was like, I'm an amazing artist. It wasn't coming across in this story of that people are stopping him from his great art. It was understanding the sacrifice that he was making, that he was, you know, so I did. I mean, it was really interesting. Like, somebody wrote a review of it. Like, if you're an artist, a creative soul struggling against a life that feels like it's beating the creative beauty out of you, read this and understand, like, that life that's getting in the way of your creative beauty, that is life also. Like, what value is your art if you never connected with anyone?
Yeah. And it's
really hard to say that it's hard to say that it's not an allegory, because I don't know, it just feels so allegorical, you know. Like Janice, forgive me if I mispronounce it. It's about a work-life balance, you know. Giannis. Apologies. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where it's like he felt that these little things were getting in his way of painting, of getting this piece of art done, and towards the end, you know, he feels that he's not ready for this journey, and that alone felt like an allegory for death. You know, like has he made that imprint on the world that he's looking to make? You know,
like was that a life well lived?
Exactly. I mean,
some
at what point are you?
Some would say absolutely not, and some would say absolutely.
I would. I'd say if you were watching this, abandon your family and just follow your dreams. Just do it. Tell them Fandom Social sent you.
Somebody who's got that much drive and creative passion, you'll never be able to put in that. You'll never be satisfied. You'll never be able to put enough into your work to feel that you really gave everything that you have. Unless you, even if you neglect everything and everyone and just do that, it was never going to be enough. So it's a work-life balance is really hard to achieve when you have a lot of people in your life that you really love, but you also have a huge creative drive. I have a huge creative drive. I'm always wanting to push and do things and make things. And, you know, I have 900 children and lots of friends and family, and that's a wonderful life that I have, but it's also a constant balance of trying to find the time for everything.
Yeah. I mean,
like this show.
Boy, howdy. I mean, how many, I don't know how many times, Autumn, we have been up working on a thing from, you know, when we were at Sideshow doing live events, and I'm like, I haven't talked to my family in 3 days. Yeah. Like we're just, you know, and it's like, oh, it's worth it. And then it's done. And you're just, and everyone's upset at you. And like, we did the thing, and it was great, and people love it, but it is also, you know, secondhand.
There's a cost.
So, you know, you did mention how it is a wonderful life, and that is a wonderful segue into our next Explorathon topic, which is our watch segment, which is the Twilight Zone. Now, we did 3 episodes in specific. The 3, nope, we're not paying for that. So the 3 that we did is Little Girl Lost, 5 characters in search of an exit, and It's a Good Life. Because we're already talking about it, let's start with It's a Good Life, which is, if I would suspect a lot of you know what this is, but if you are not aware, it's the chilling tale that features a young boy with godlike powers who holds his small town hostage to his whims and punishments, illustrating the unsettling side of unchecked power. I hadn't seen Twilight Zone maybe since I was a kid. I have never wanted to punt a child across a room more than this one. He just has like the most punchable face ever. And like I don't know what it was. He was a great villain. So
it was a great commentary on power without responsibility or maturity.
Oh yeah.
Like it was amazing.
And I do
into the cornfield.
Into the cornfield. That's, you know what? What's funny. So we'll get into this episode. I should preface this. We chose very specific Twilight Zone episodes. Daniel and Autumn actually really did it. I didn't do a damn thing. But the reason,
just in time.
Not your kid. Your kid is great.
Your kid's great.
Hi, Liana. We love you. Don't, I don't want to have to punt you. Just don't put dead people in a cornfield. That phrase mildly inspired the idea of the what is it? The Children of the Corn movie, which is what his mom used to call us as kids. He actually still calls, I think, me that sometimes.
She calls you corn. Yeah,
she calls me corn. She was like, "Hey, corn child." So I didn't realize that I have have you seen that guy on? He's on like TikTok and YouTube, and he's like finding odd connections between Aphrodite and like I don't know, like Elon Musk, and he's like, here is the through line and how you can connect those things, and he does like a 2-minute video. That's my way of doing that to this movie.
I don't know, just send that to me.
Yeah. It's really insane. But Autumn, what did you think of this episode? Because it did inspire another piece of media, right? That is a little bit more famous and in the current view.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I felt like this one was completely terrifying. And, if you want to get into the commentary, I absolutely think it's a commentary on power that without the balance of maturity. And like, it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. I loved it. It was creepy, and also, yeah, that was the most punchable kid I think I've ever seen on any movie, TV show ever.
God, were all kids like that back then?
Thank you. No.
I just don't know.
Do you think any kid anywhere without what had no discipline and ultimate power? That's the whole thing. Is one of the things I learned as a parent, and I took like childhood development classes when I was in college, was that children want boundaries. They want to be contained in a boundary. And if you do not give it to them, they act out because they are reaching for that boundary. It makes them feel safe. It makes them feel tethered and contained, and they know they're safe. And so children that act out, they're not acting out to get what they want. They're acting out to get that boundary, to find the edge of the boundary where they know they are safe. And so I think it's a natural instinct to kids to push. And there was no boundary for him. And I think that's the extreme example. Do you think any kid would end up there? Or he's just an evil kid by nature? Was he evil, or just a child?
Yeah, I mean, two sides of the same coin. So this show has been this episode of Twilight Zone has been loosely credited with being the inspiration for WandaVision, the first Disney Plus Marvel show. And then, immediately after watching it, like I was familiar with it, before, but when you watch it, you're like, oh yeah, I can see the wheels turning in Feige's brain. I will say, after watching this, not to make comparisons, because obviously they're very different shows with very different IPs, but the one element that I did really love in Not Little Girl Lost, in It's a Good Life, that I wish would have been incorporated, is that everyone knew.
Yes.
That element was so important to It's a Good Life that it made it had this.
It was scary immediately.
Hitchcock level of tension. And he could, in the way that he could create tension from just space. And if you want to hear more about that, go through our shows. We did a whole episode on Alfred Hitchcock and Jordan Peele. So it just had tension immediately. And even watching it again for the first, for time, but watching it, I think it's 60, 70 years afterwards, it's still so good.
That show was amazing at doing that, at setting up the stage quickly, setting up tension quickly, putting you in that mindset immediately. They were really good at that.
I'm curious for you two, and then we'll ask everyone here. We're going to start with Daniel, because I feel like Autumn is already kind of evil. So we'll start with Daniel first, and then we'll ask everyone, how long, if you're that little punchable kid, how long would it take you, do you think, before you start turning? I
think it'd take me some time. I feel like there's a sense of I'll get what I want, right? A swimming pool full of pudding, whatever. You can make your wishes, get your wishes out of the way. And then once things become boring, that's when I'd probably start turning, when I don't know. It's how do you satisfy that need consistently? There's that need for more and more and more, especially when it goes unchecked the way this little boy does. Nobody's there to tell him no. Nobody's there to, he does what he wants. The dog was barking too much. He got rid of it. So
all of the dogs. He got that's what did it for me. Was literally that moment when the dog was like, I'm done. The hell with this kid. I
think it's interesting, because I think even if you go in with the most altruistic, best intentions, we've learned, again, I'm obsessed with The Good Place and the philosophy of A Good Place and their concept of unintended consequences. So I could go in there with the purest of intentions, and I want to help the world. I want to save the world. I'm going to end world hunger. Well, now the unintended consequences is this population boom. And now what are we going to do? And this constant, somebody else is getting hurt because of a good thing that I did for X over here. Y is suffering. And I think I can see that even if you go in with great intentions, you may end up saying, screw it, I can't. And then just make everyone disappear because you can't handle it. Or you do a Thanos and make half the people disappear. Okay, now everyone's happy. I can see it becoming evil because of frustrations with unintended consequences.
Yeah, I mean, it's the ideal, right? That money and power, which hold the same value in our society, they don't change you. They just make you more of what you are. They highlight, they expedite more what you are. And so the idea of that child, he's quick to react. He's a kid.
Yeah. He's by nature immature and self-centered, which is what they are.
Yeah. And
Laura points out.
Yeah.
And he can read thoughts. So you can't even think. Whereas it's the opposite of WandaVision, people had their own thoughts internally but couldn't express them. They did not have their own thoughts. They did not have those to themselves, but and they had to express fake thoughts. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, the parallels between the shows are great, and I mean, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but it makes me want to go back and watch WandaVision.
Yeah.
Which show's fine. I'm just kind of over all of it at the moment, and I'm like, I really want to watch WandaVision now, just to see the direct parallels. Now that I'm like fresh out of it, and
I want to go back and look at everyone who's not Wanda.
Exactly.
Look at their faces. Look at how they're reacting. Look for the little tells and the pain that they're suffering. And
that was the best part of It's a Good Life, was just seeing like this again, just this tension that is amassed over everyone. It was incredible. Let us know if you watched it, because we've got 2 more to talk about. Let's do the next one, which is 5 characters in search of an exit, which is so 5 seemingly unrelated characters find themselves trapped in a circular, featureless room with no memory of how they got there, or who they are. So this was, it was funny. I was thinking about this. Like, this was my least favorite of the 3.
Yeah.
At the start, but it's the one that I've kind of been like, I've kind of been thinking about the most, because it's super unpleasant, and it is the one that has the least concise ending. Yeah. It is the most open-ended.
Yeah.
So Daniel, you've seen this one, or did you rewatch it?
I did see this one. And this one is, I don't know, this one kind of like frustrated me a little more, because it had me thinking. Like, I was trying to figure out the twist from the jump. The 5 different characters. I was like, oh, are they archetypes? Are they like,
that's what I wrote down.
Right. And it's not that I was unsatisfied with the ending, but it was such a good twist that like I didn't see it coming. All the different ways I was trying to figure it out, I still couldn't land on it. But I was still really impressed with it. That storytelling holds up.
Yeah. It was a story that is like one of those classic character studies that they would teach in like acting school, of like just being present. Like, it actually inspired the movie The Cube, which is one that, if you guys hadn't seen, that's a really good one. But also the enigmatic setup and character driven narrative is loosely laid the groundwork for a pretty big show like Lost. It had something. There is something there that can be tied to the show Lost, whether you liked it or not. It was this thing where at one point,
take these people, throw them in, and see what happens.
Yeah, and the micro narrative of everyone becomes so much more important than the macro of like, wait, why are they on this island? Like, you don't care. You're worried about,
And later on, you're really upset that you found out. It was kind of better when you didn't know.
I was trying not to bring it up, but I'm
bringing it up.
God, I haven't watched that in so long.
Yeah.
The infamous Lost ending.
Yeah.
It was fun. The ending was fine, but I have to say I enjoyed it more when I had no idea what was happening. It didn't matter to me why. I loved what was I loved what the characters were saying and doing. Okay, start over.
Wait, no, be nice to her. It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Is that all the first letters are silent? That's our new thing, right? Yeah. Happy birthday, Isaac.
Happy birthday, Lisa.
Love it.
Train of thought. Nothing like losing your train of thought live.
Yeah, Little Girl Lost. Let's do that.
Yeah, so
Little Girl Lost.
Little Girl Lost. Oh man, such a good episode. A young girl mysteriously vanishes. A young girl mysteriously vanishes into another dimension through a portal in her bedroom, leaving her distraught parents to navigate an unseen world to bring her back. Okay, Autumn. This is. I did a little bit of digging around what people predominantly felt were some of the best Twilight Zone episodes, and this is always in the top 3.
It's always been in my top 3.
Okay.
I've watched Twilight Zone, the entire series, many, many times since I was a kid. I've always loved it. And this has always been one of my very favorite ones. It was just spooky and interesting and compelling. And it's what threw me into the idea of sci-fi. Like, it's what made me start reading sci-fi books and watching sci-fi movies. Like, I want to say I was in probably 6th, 7th grade when I first saw this. And it's what started me into like reading all these other those kinds of books, because I was a voracious reader as a kid, and this is what prompted me to want to read more out there concepts of sci-fi.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel, I know you're a pretty big sci-fi fan, you know, like of not just Star Wars, you know, that elk, but of pretty much everything. So like, how did you think, or like, how do you feel about how much not that they got right, but like they set the tone for sci-fi very early on in this episode, like in years ago. Like
I think a lot of the context that's missing is just like the time frame that it was in. You know, back then, like these weren't concepts that you were used to seeing very often, if ever at all. You know, this was something that what blew my mind was the hand through the wall trick that they did. You know, for it being 1950 something, like it's insane. Crazy cool to see. But
do you have
definitely
any?
Does.
Sorry, I know but I know you've been in film. You've done filmmaking before. Done filmmaking sounds so pedantic. How do they do that? How they do that?
So that's called a plate shot or a plate replacement, where they essentially keep the camera static. They don't move it, so that when they film one part of it, they're essentially shooting half the frame. Let's say like this half with the actors like reaching through, but on this half they've removed the wall, so this hand just goes through seamlessly. And then they go and shoot the other side, which they just put the wall back, right? And then in post they blend it. And I imagine this is how you would do it, you know, nowadays. It's a very rudimentary trick, but it's effective. It works. And then when you lay the footage over each other, his hand just goes, you know, right through.
Yeah,
it's super easy. Watch.
Wait.
I should have another coming out of it.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
Well, studio effects with Daniel has now ended. Dwayne said great effects for the time. Absolutely. I mean, I think for this, it's not even like rumored, or it's not loosely tied to the direct. Is it the Duffy or the Duffer brothers? The Duffer brothers, who are the creators of Stranger Things, have said like, oh no, this largely inspired us, this episode specifically. So if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend watching it. Also, it's like 23 minutes.
Yeah.
So good.
Why do we think the concept is so compelling of someone being lost, someone being there but not there? Like, it's not just like she got lost. She's in the room, but she's not in the room.
I think part of it has to do with like a helplessness thing. Like, you're as a parent, like you're helpless to help in that, like, you don't know what's going on. She's there, but she's not there, and there's nothing you can do to like affect that. Or at least in the beginning of the episode, up until they call the scientist in.
Honestly, super easy to make kids. Just let that one go.
Daniel, you as a parent of kids with autism, that just like struck me really hard. Like, they're there and they need help, and how can you help them? They're right there, but they're not. And how do you help them? It's
tough to watch.
It's intense. Yeah.
I wish I hadn't said my thing now.
Look how shallow and mean Paul is, everyone.
It's fun. But that, Autumn, that's a really emotional parallel that I'm gonna move on from, because I will start getting emotional because I know your children, and that's gonna upset me. But yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting episode, and I could see, you know, Autumn, to your point about like, why is it so compelling? I think we as people, whether you're watching this show, welcome in. Hi, happy Thursday. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, or anything. We as human beings tend to gravitate towards a character. It's science. Your brain is most likely not capable of watching anything objectively. And so like, when I watched that, you know, my brain was like bouncing back and forth between 3 very different characters with doing 3 very different things. You know, you have the scientist who is like who drove over in his model. I don't know what cars they had, Model Ts or
sure.
No,
yeah, that's
there.
definitely
Horse and
right.
buggy.
And horse and buggy, and he drove over, and then his entire life it switched from theoretical to practical, and so his worldview switches, and he's trying to help his friend, but he's also trying to understand a secret of the universe, and that he, and he's what is he called? He's not a particle theorist. He's
theoretical.
Like he's a theoretical physicist.
Yeah, he is. Okay. And so it's such a broad field that it very well could not be his expertise. And he's like, dude, I don't know
whose expertise would it be?
Yeah. That he literally says that. And he's like, but who would be? And then you have the mom who is solely focused on getting her daughter back.
Yeah.
That's all she is worried about. And then, you have the dad who is just reactive. He's just completely just trying to keep everything together, but most importantly, himself.
And they needed all three in order to accomplish this. They could not have done it without all three of them and what they brought to the table. Because the mom just losing her mind wouldn't have succeeded, but her relentless drive to push everybody.
Yeah.
It was fascinating. I loved it.
It was incredible. It was hands down my favorite of them. The It's a Good Life was really good, but I think the acting, the small scale version of the acting was so incredible in this last one. And I think that's so I was saying we were talking about behind the scenes that I have started just watching Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And it's all good. They're not all It's a Good Life. They're not all Little Girl Lost.
Did you see the camera that can take a picture of the future? And the guy takes
I haven't gotten there yet because I'm
starting
to
the racetracks.
That's what I did.
So good. Yeah.
No, you can see what you got to. No, that's one place. If you're going to go to the future, go to a sports bar, go to a Buffalo Wild Wings, and just take pictures of all of the screens because they're playing all kinds.
You would think, right? Just watch the episode. You'll see.
There's no way that can go bad.
There's no possible way.
Right, there's no way this can go wrong.
Nothing.
No.
That's my second favorite, by the way.
All right, check it out. What season is that? In the first season?
I don't know.
All right, great.
So get there.
If let us know what you guys thought of the 3 episodes.
And
what is your favorite Twilight Zone episode? I'm gonna keep watching. I'll probably go through them. Spooky season is coming up, and I'm like, okay, I found it because I'm toggling between this and Supernatural.
It's a New Year's Day tradition from midnight to midnight to watch every episode. Because TBS used to air a marathon where they would play every single episode. And so now that, that's not necessarily a thing anymore, that people just turn on TBS or TNT or one of those. But now it's just become kind of a thing of New Year's Day, hanging out in your pajamas, eating leftover whatever, and watching Twilight Zone all day long, just having it on. It's really fun.
That literally sounds like my dream.
Yeah.
That's what my It's a Good Life world would look like.
Yes.
It would just be Chinese food and TV. And maybe Jell-O.
It is my tradition. So everyone, join me. Okay.
Join us, everyone. All right, we're going to move on now to our last of them. This is our listen. It is the War of the Worlds radio broadcast by Orson Welles, the guy who also makes the popcorn. That's him, right?
Right.
Fantastic.
Sure.
So this was adapted from H.G. Wells' science fiction novel. The drama was presented by Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater as a series of simulated news bulletins, which suggested an actual alien invasion unfolding on October 30th, 1938. I just love the rapscallionness of this. I'm like, he was a real, he was a real one. Autumn, we'll start with this. First thoughts, first looks when you listen to it. What did you think? I mean, did you hear? I know you read a little bit of it and you heard it in parts when you could. What did you think of it?
I mean, I've always, since I first heard about it and listened to it, I was like, I am here for that guy. He may have had whatever, you may think whatever you want to think about him, but you gotta love it. He was what he put on was so realistic that it freaks the entire world out. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yep. I mean,
I have a clip of some headlines here. These are just like snippets. It really did shake people.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back up again. Let's read through a few of these. Maybe if you are making Lisa a birthday cake and your hands are busy. Fake radio war. Fake radio war stirs terror through the U.S. Radio listeners in panic talking war drama as a fact check. Doesn't say Jack. Radio plays terrifies nation. Yeah,
look at the subtitle there. Many flee homes to escape gas raid from Mars. Phone calls swamp police at the broadcast of the Wells Fantasy.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
What a fantastic Halloween prank. We need more Halloween pranks. I just think that people I'm like, okay, it would never work now. Like, I'm trying to think of like, how could we do this coordinated effort and do it now, but it wouldn't work. It worked at the perfect time.
So I would bet dollars to donuts that it would still work today.
Did you hear about?
People are still dumb.
Yeah. Did you? But one of my favorite things is his inconsistency in answering for it after the fact. People saying, did you cause that panic on purpose? Did you know it was going to do that and you wanted that to happen? Or are you sorry that it happened? And sometimes he would be protesting like, hey, it was just a story. And other times it's like, yeah, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to shake things up. Like, basically, F everybody. Let's do this.
Oh, like, so it's the original, like, whoa, bro, it's a prank. It's a prank.
It's just a prank.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Prank.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah. Okay, so Daniel, so before the show, had you heard it in full? Because again, for everyone who doesn't know, Daniel has been in filmmaking. He's worked in film. So I'm sure, like, have you had to listen to this before? Or is this like the first time you've done it?
I have had to listen to it. I did a report on it back in 8th grade or something. And it was about like, I think the report itself was about like hysteria and how like just little things can set people off, you know? And this was a good example in that, like, if you weren't listening from the top, because in the beginning they intro it like, oh, this is the Mercury Theater production of, you know, War of the Worlds. They set it up, right? But if you happen to tune in as it was broadcasting, like there are some things in there that could definitely make you think like, oh, this is legitimate. They have like on-site reporting within the program and random like cuts to dead audio. And then somebody would come on like, well, we're trying to get back the signal from our, you know, whoever.
It's like your original clickbait.
Yeah.
It really
I would
was.
say my favorite part, and I found it to be I don't know why. I was listening to it while I was working out. The most which was a very odd workout. I didn't do a damn thing. Mm-hmm. The oddest part was it was in the very beginning, first 20 minutes or so. It's after the second report where they get to the New Jersey farm and they're talking. And then they're like, all right, well, we're going to go back to the presentation. And then they proceed to play music like they promised for like 6 minutes. Mm-hmm. And it's just tense, and then cuts it back. And then it's just a whirlwind, and it goes. And then they keep trying to go back to the music and it doesn't work. But I just found that to be the most unsettling part because it shows this like normalcy, which is what I think, like if it would have just been,
make you feel calm again.
If it would just went to 100 at the beginning, but like this was emotional manipulation of people who, you know, were afraid of war at that time. I mean, we were 5 or 6 years away from the biggest event in world history, second biggest event.
He's like, oh no, the actual enemy is aliens. Can I also, I don't know if it was a good idea. Okay. The movie Don't Look Up. This is the opposite of that. The exact opposite. Don't Look Up is a story where there's a meteor going to crash into Earth, and all the scientists are trying to tell everyone. And no matter how compelling, no matter how much facts, no matter how factual it is, they can't get anyone to listen or react. And this is the exact opposite.
Don't they have red hats that say "Don't look up"? Don't look up.
Yeah, and it's a touchy movie to bring up because it's not a fiction.
No, it is not. The parts of it. I mean, there's unfortunately for everyone, there's not an asteroid hitting us tomorrow, so you all have to go to work. But it is it is a great parallel. That's a great parallel. That's a great comment. Like it is the exact opposite of this movie, and how Yeah, it's the other.
It's the showmanship that convinces people, not the facts or the truth. It's the showmanship and the mindset of what people want to hear and what they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And in Don't Look Up, they didn't have the showmanship that was necessary to inspire people. But it's interesting. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's great. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix. Everyone, I think that's where I saw it. So if you hadn't seen it, check it out. It's a real bummer, but it's good. DiCaprio's in it. I mean, it's a great film.
Yeah.
Let's see what some people are saying. Steve Nara says Wells is no stranger to wanting to end the world. He was Unicron after all. I think the famous 7th member of the Village People. So Dwayne Madison says, at least in 38 they had an excuse to be dumb to this stuff. Yeah, now we just do it to ourselves.
What's funny is later on, Orson Welles says one of his best acting he ever did in his life was pretending to not be delighted the next morning.
And scene.
Yeah.
He said that in late life interviews. That was my greatest acting.
Janice Hartman says, I'm not sure it wouldn't work now. I think it is more that people wouldn't be scared. There would be people who are fascinated and excited.
Well, we've already said aliens exist, and everyone's like, I don't care. Can you just forgive my student loans?
Yeah, exactly.
You just know, people would be out there like this.
Yeah.
Just waiting. The first thing, first person to get it onto TikTok, you know?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Cloud.
Just take Andrew Tate first.
I love it. We're taking some hot takes and taking some stances tonight. Let's move on.
It's our own channel. It's true. All right. Well, we've already not committed to our 30 to 45 minute rule, but that is it for our Explorathon segment. But we have a new set of Explorathon picks. And so it's new homework, but it's a month from now because we are going to give y'all a month to do it. Every week when we do a new episode, it's going to be different. It'll be sort of our big show that was 2 hours. We're sort of chopping it up now week by week. But
to be clear, we are going to be live every week, but we're not going to do Explorathon again until next month. So Explorathon is a month from now, but next week we will have a show about other things.
Boom. And we do have a really, really, really exciting show, something that we've been really passionate about for next week. And we'll let you guys all know about what that is after we go over our Explorathon picks really quickly. And then we got to get out of here because Autumn's got to work. Daniel's got a guitar show and I live alone. So maybe I'll go wait for an asteroid. All right. So our next picks and for the Explorathon segment, we've got our watch segment. We are going to be watching. I'm so excited about this.
I am too. I haven't seen this.
The Lighthouse. Oh my goodness. This is a Robert Eggers film. It's got Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, and that's it. It's a very, very small scale cast in this.
We do need to point out why we chose this. It's important to talk about why we chose it. Why we chose the specific creators. Right. I see. Yeah. So, 2 lighthouse keepers try to maintain their sanity while living on a remote and mysterious New England island in the 1890s. To Autumn's point, we have chosen this film specifically because it is an A24 film, and A24 has been completely compliant with the SAG-AFTRA and WGA. Is it WAG? WGA.
WGA.
WWE. Yeah.
I wish it was WAG. WAG sounds more fun, but it's fine. So because A24 has been compliant, they've met all the demands of SAG-AFTRA and WGA. We feel okay talking about and supporting a A24 film. So just wanted to call that out. Now that we have The Lighthouse is so good. This might be the only time I've ever had a leg up on any homework ever. Autumn. So Daniel, you tend to be a movie buff sometimes.
I do. This one, I haven't. And it's something I kind of hold a little piece of shame in that, like, it's got rave reviews. Everyone says it's an incredible film, and it's just one that slipped me by. It passed me by.
I've always wanted to see it. It is absolutely Twilight with foghorns. Yep.
Foghorn Leghorn?
No, it's definitely one that I was interested in. I love both those actors. I was interested to see how Robert Pattinson's going to hold his own with Willem Dafoe. I mean, that's quite a pairing. So yeah, been excited about it.
It's and on a technical really aspect,
mm-hmm.
it's a movie shot in 4:3, right? So it's like a square format throughout, all black and white. Things you just don't see anymore. It's very like art house filmy. Definitely just something I need to check out.
Letting people know, if you haven't seen it, it is very like, it is truly like an art house pretentious type film that's like gives you no answers, but I mean, it is really Robert Pattinson and like Willem Dafoe, like you've never seen him. This was a film that had come out before the Batman, and people were like, oh my god, the Twilight guy's gonna be Batman. It's like, you've clearly never seen him act. You have no idea how incredible of an actor Pattinson was. He was nominated for, I think, supporting actor, or best, or lead. I forget if him or Dafoe were lead, but they were both nominated. It is a truly good film. It's incredibly claustrophobic. It's a little what's his name? The Cthulhu guy. What's his name?
Oh,
Lovecraftian. It's a little Lovecraftian.
Ah, okay.
In nature, where it's odd, but it's like it's grounded in realism. It's a great film. Check it out, everyone. So that's our watch segment. Our read segment is something that at one point me and Autumn like sent this to each other. Like we share a brain every once in a while, and we sent this to each other, and we're both like, "This would be cool." And we're like,
for no reason.
Also, someone else had sent this to. It was just, it all worked out. We're finally getting around to it.
Yeah.
This is The Yellow Wallpaper. This is by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. It is throughout the short story, The Yellow Wallpaper, by author Charlotte Perkins Gilman, explores her own experience with postpartum depression and the rest cure treatment. Written as a woman's secret diary while locked away in a room, The Yellow Wallpaper explores the negative attitude towards women and the stigma surrounding mental health.
Sounds fun.
Real up our wheelhouse here. It's perfect because people have said, like, I mean, I don't know who the equivalents of them are, but they are folks that read a lot of books, bunch of nerds, but they've said that this is one of the scariest books they've ever read. Yeah. So I don't know if anyone's read it. If you have, let us know. I don't know what we're in for. I ordered my copy the other day. It'll be here tomorrow. I'm so excited to just have it, honestly. Like some people say like it's just an unsettling book to even just have. And I'm like, I'm excited. I hope it's haunted.
Yeah.
I will say I read
it's a laugh riot.
A laugh riot. I read a snippet of this in high school, actually. Really? It was just an excerpt. I couldn't even tell you what the lesson was on it at this point, so far removed. But I am excited to read it again. From what I remember, it was definitely an unsettling read.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
And it's a pretty small book
right now.
Yeah, we'll get ready to be unsettled. It is a pretty small book as well. I think it's something like just 180 pages.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like one of those 10-page books that's impossible to get through.
Respectfully.
Has anyone read Infinite Jest? It is quite a mission.
No. That's something. That's a doorstop.
This is a lesson in patience, is what this is.
Yes,
Speaking of doorstop, I'm ready.
So, great segment. For our listen segment, we are going to do something that we love to do. We're going to have you guys pick what we are going to be listening to for our listen segment. This book that Autumn has is 1001 albums to listen to before you die. One of you is going to give us a number. We're going to go to that page. Between which pages, Autumn?
Let's see. The last page on here is 949. And the first page of actual albums is 22. So between 22 and 949, knowing that it's chronological. So it starts in the 50s and goes to 2000s.
Oh, so if you do pick early enough, we can get Ingrid Bergman's album, You've Got It, which was an Alfred Hitchcock favorite.
Oh, first number I saw was 376.
Well, before we do that, Autumn.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's have Lisa, it's your birthday. Let's have her pick. It's her birthday.
Okay.
But save 376 in case we don't like Lisa's
pick. Just in case.
Lisa, if you are here, let us know and give us a number. Everyone else is just picking now. Yeah, we can keep these. Autumn, maybe we bookmark them as well. Just in case.
I've got the first, just in case. I've got the first one that was chosen
by Jen. Thank you, Jen.
Our
genie in a digital bottle. I don't know if Lisa, I hope Lisa is listening, and she's like listening passively. And she's like running back to her computer.
Don't screw
Steve
it
Nara
up.
Don't screw it up, Lisa. We'll give her a few more minutes, and if not, Autumn will go with what Jin had picked, which was number 376. So
this is pretty good, I have to say. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the book is called 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. So theoretically, all of these are bangers.
Theoretically, they're all bangers. And if an asteroid's hitting tomorrow, everyone, you've got a lot of music to listen to.
All right. Well, I think we bless you.
Daniel,
I think we've given her.
Do you mind? We're live.
So sorry.
All right, Lisa, you can pick the next one. Autumn. So Jin had chosen number 376. What album are we listening to for our Explorathon listen segment?
Electric Light Orchestra, Out of the Blue from 1977.
Is that got Mr. Blue Sky on it?
I think so. Let's see.
I guess we'll find out.
It is very long. It says, it's a 70-minute listen.
Jeez,
for some comparison, these other ones are like 37, 39.
I'll just go read
45.
the Tolkien thing instead.
Yeah. So
Mr. Blue Sky is on there.
Yes, it's called Out of the Blue is the name of the album. Out of the Blue. Yeah.
All right.
It says, despite, this is the review.
Can we get cover art, Daniel, for that?
It says,
yeah, I'm on it.
Okay. Jeff Lynne is a man with serious ambitions. That much was clear from the start when he and two other ex-members of pre-ELO psychedelic pop outfit, The Move, announced that they would now pick up where the Beatles had left off with I Am the Walrus. But even by Lynne's standard, Out of the Blue was a daringly ambitious project, a galaxy-spanning double platter that melded spacey art rock, Beatle-esque pop, and sleek orchestral arrangements. Despite its length, Blue does not contain much filler. It kicks off with a trio of tunes that rank among ELO's finest, the giddy Turn to Stone and Sweet Talkin' Woman that bookend the meticulously produced It's Over. So those three are the first three. It draws inspiration from both Chuck Berry and Beethoven as it moves through rockers such as Birmingham Blues and the symphonic sidelong Concerto for a Rainy Day, which climaxes with Mr. Blue Sky. The cinematic Wild West hero, complete with McCartney-like refrain, brings the album to a triumphant close. Released at the height of disco, Out of the Blue was seen by some as futuristic fish out of water. The trippy spaceship cover was illustrators' expansive development of a UFO-shaped logo from their previous LP. It quickly became a platinum-selling hit and launched the band on one of the most ambitious world tour of the 70s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I recognize that cover immediately. Yeah, it's a cover. So it's 70. Dan, I don't know if you have this information. I don't know if it's there for you either.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing a thing. I'm just talking. So what how many songs is that? 70 minutes. Like what is the song?
It does not say how many songs. It's 70 minutes long though. And it's a double album.
Okay. Owen says looks like the full album is on YouTube. Nice. Which I do love every once in a while. I listen. Steve said 17. It's 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I am most intrigued by what is Concerto for a Rainy Day, inspired by Beethoven. I would like to know. Yeah, Chuck Berry and Beethoven. Let's hear it. So I'm excited about
Those
it.
are some
nice pick,
wild spectrum influences. I'm excited to see what this sounds like.
Me too.
Yeah, very excited to explore this album. I probably only know Mr. Blue Sky and maybe
same.
Other. Those are the big ones.
No, everything else I'm thinking is Rush.
Okay, why am I worried?
Well, because your camera is saying we are over, and
we are
hit an hour already.
Over.
All right, everyone. So that is the next Explorathon again. A month from today, we will do a more in-depth discussion on the lighthouse, the yellow wallpaper, and the ELO. What's the album called?
Out of the Blue.
Out of the Blue.
Thank you. My brain is stuck in Concerto for a Rainy Day. So we'll turn we'll turn in our notes on those and turn in your homework when we see you there. Join us in our Facebook group, Fandom Socialites. If you guys want to talk about it a little early, just I mean, we're not really worried about spoilers for any of this. So feel free to talk away. We'll talk more in a month later. Our next show is next Thursday. Same time, same bat channel, same bat place. We have a very special guest. It is a very different type of show. It's something that we really want to do more of. It is a brainchild of Autumn. Autumn, I'll let you go into maybe what it is, and then we can tell people who our guest is and what we're going to be doing.
As Paul said, this is a personal passion of mine. I am fascinated by people who create their own podcasts or their own shows, their own whatever it is they want to create and what drives them to keep going with it. And so this is a creator interview session series. So we're going to kick it off with somebody who's near and dear to the show. I'll let Paul announce.
It is our very, very, very good friend, Miguel, over at Toy Quest 101. We are, Miguel, I don't know if you're here in the chats anymore. I know you've got a ton going on, but he has agreed to come on. Now, the thing about this is it's going to be different. Everyone here, I'm assuming, has seen Miguel in one way or another over at Toy Quest 101 with himself and Ileana and that channel. That channel just means a lot, not only to them, but to us. They mean a lot to us. So he's kicking off this series for us. It is going to be a show not so much about collecting, about his channel, but it's going to be about him and what inspired his channel. And who Miguel is, this person that you guys all see, and he talks, it's like the man behind the maquette, like who is this person that you guys have all gotten so used to. It is, we've been privileged enough to know him in different capacities, but even we have a lot of questions for him we don't really know. So we are very excited to have him on next week. We really, really hope you guys will join us as we have Miguel from Toy Quest 101 coming on for our artist series, our creator series. So Love excited.
I'm very excited.
So we'll promo that. We'll promo that in their group. He'll probably promo it on one of his shows, but it is this time, this place, right here next Thursday, which is where we will be having all of our shows for the foreseeable future. Head over to fandomsocial.com, where we will try to update our schedule. Again, it's just us right now, so it's super, super hard. We did bring another member onto our team to help with some of the social stuff. So we're hoping to kind of get things more and more squared away. As we're all getting busier, we're hoping to make things even less chaotic. So we'll see how that goes. But thank you all so much for joining us. Do all the things, like all the socials.
Love what you love.
Really helps us. Thank you guys for being here. Happy Thursday. Love what you like what you love, and don't be a jerk about it. So have a good night, everyone. Take care. Happy birthday, Lisa.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, F. Wellington's here. We can start.
Oh,
all right, from the top. Let's go back.